picks and bans for game number 1 of the Champions Summer Grand Finals. Samsung Blue versus the KT Arrows as night falls on the beach.
Man, those were some great drone shots of the skyscrapers with the sunset behind them. Cacao, master comedian, of course.
Master comedian. Who knew?
Fans love him.
But who watches The Watchmen? That's the question.
That's right.
Cacao's a comedian. I don't know. He's not watching anybody at the moment. His eyes are still closed. Our crowd is massive. Basically, everybody that can get a seat got a seat, and everyone who can is standing around the outside. And we're in the middle of the ocean.
That's right.
Yep.
On the casting raft.
On the casting raft. That's right. Casting survival raft. It's time, guys. Let's do it. Picks and bans for game number 1, Samsung Blue versus the KT Arrows. And here we go.
All right, Zed taken out
Zed
immediately.
First ban. Wow.
And remember, we're on 4.13, so those Zed buffs haven't come through yet. But what is scary about Dade
Zed buffs, man,
is that he can team fight with Zed so extraordinarily well. And if the KT Arrows are planning on first picking Kog'Maw, Samsung Blue has used Zed as a counter to Kog'Maw in team fight. So you got to take that one away if you want to keep your Kog'Maw alive. Thresh banned out. There's Orianna going by the wayside. Now, Orianna not a champion that Dade really ever plays.
Yeah, that's right, but Rookie does. So a good ban out there. There's a Rengar ban against Spirit. Just getting that out of the way, showing that KT doesn't really want to first pick it, more importantly. So what's the final ban? Alistar against Achani. And so again, Achani kind of put in the hot seat. What is the pick going to be? No Thresh, no Alistar. And there, of course, is that Maokai first pick. They're going to take that one away from Acorn, but he's just so strong right now. Any top laner is going to want to get their hands on the tree.
Yeah, but this is one of those few pick and bans where we've seen Lee Sin go through. Now, Lee Sin Kog'Maw most likely going to be the takeaway here. Of course, Deft, a fantastic Kog'Maw player, uses his positioning nearly perfectly in team fights.
And Spirit's able to grab that Lee Sin as well, too. So a nice pickup there. We'll see what Cacao decides to go with. Obviously, Elise would be a pretty common pick for him, but that Kha'Zix we were talking about coming up big recently in EU. Will we see it today? And ooh, interesting, a Corki pickup maybe.
Yeah,
think about that.
Corki's
very KT type of pick, isn't it?
Yeah, Corki's a very strong laning champion and early or mid-game power spike champion, so it does deal with this Kog'Maw just a little bit. Now they can also pick Twitch. Arrow, very good Twitch player, even though we haven't seen him play it in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean overall, I feel like Lucian's fallen way off, and Twitch is starting to fall a little bit too. He still gets played quite a bit, but he's starting to sort of fade away.
And guys, yeah, Lucian is available tonight. Xerath, Jinx, and Sona are the champions that are not available. They are disabled due to bugs and or reworks.
Yeah.
And there is going to be a Rise block.
Okay.
Interesting. So the Rise pickup is going to deter Dade from selecting Yasuo. And it's also just a strong all-around champion, but Rookie not known as a mid-lane Rise player.
Well, we'll see how he does it. I mean, again, you know, these guys are coming into this with a good amount of practice. And Dade, is he actually going to go with the LeBlanc? Now, LeBlanc got a tiny little buff, but she still lacks that silence, and she just doesn't seem to be a solid mid laner right now.
I would be very surprised if we saw the LeBlanc coming in right here.
Me too, man.
The Jace, more likely, if he wants to play Jace in the mid lane too. Dade used to be a very good Jace player and mid lane Ezreal player. He's liked those ranged ADs.
Yeah.
And that may be a Nidalee pickup to deal with this Maokai.
Oh, okay. We'll see if he goes through with it.
And this would be very different. Acorn has not played Nidalee before.
Well, I believe this would be the first Nidalee we've seen in Champions this season, or since rework anyway, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And there it is, locked in. And there's going to be a Morgana as well. Heart's going to be taking that as support, probably. Ooh, is Achani actually going to go for Blitzcrank? He's played it before, but again, I mean, you're just so all in with Blitz. It's so easy to get out-warded. And yeah, I don't think that's going to get locked in.
This is hilarious. Actually, right before the matches tonight, I asked Cacao, are you going to play W Evolve, W Max versus Kha'Zix? And he kind of looked at me and giggled nervously.
That look, didn't he? Yeah, he's like, oh no, don't tweet it. And there's the Zilean, okay. So support Zilean, and we are seeing some of those patch changes having an effect today.
And
already.
Hart has played support Zilean in the past, but it hasn't been a champion that Achani has gone to. And this duo lane of Corki Zilean is very powerful. A bully lane in the early game. You must gank this lane to remove pressure from your bottom lane if you are a Samsung Blue. Yeah, it's really difficult to deal with without ganks, and they're hoping. So basically what the Arrows have done so far is that they've created a very neat little scaling composition where they've got some early game punch with Corki, and they're going to wait for Maokai and Rise to scale up. Now, on the other hand, Samsung Blue, they're going to be in a similar situation here. This may
I wonder.
Now, this is going to maybe confusing because we don't know if Tristana's going mid or if Kog'Maw is AP and going mid.
Yeah, I mean, AP Kog'Maw, we've been hearing a lot of rumors about it getting practice, and it does get locked in, so it looks like it might be. Let's see if they switch it. Right now, we've got Dade on Tristana in the mid lane. I'm going to watch my screen, which still has the game up there, and so far there is no switch. They've got 15 seconds more, 25 seconds more rather, to change it.
Yeah, and Dade with the mid lane Tristana, this wouldn't surprise me. He's always been an AD carry mid lane player. It has played Lucian, played Ezreal, and they switched. So it will be an AP Cog after all.
Interesting.
But a little bit of a mind game right there, especially since we have seen that mid Tristana used both in North America, of course, first bringing that in, and then now in Europe as well, Froggen running it for Alliance in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's cool. We're seeing some of these AD carry picks, these sort of specialized ones, pop up in other lanes now.
Yeah. So, but we will have that AP Cog mid. This is something that SK Telecom K has really been liking to do in NLB. Faker has been very good on that champion so far, but outside of K, we saw it run by both Frost and Blaze in NLB also, and it's also been run heavily in China.
That's right. Well, I don't think Dade is running Corki in the mid lane. Looks like that's a little bit mixed up. There we go. Arrow on Corki. And deft on that Tristana pick, so Samsung Blue. I mean, this is classic Arrows and classic Blue, right? Arrows wants to get a hit early, do damage in Blue, wants to survive and have a comp that they're capable of coming back in the mid and late game with.
Well, the thing is, they've tried to counterpick this Maokai with the Nidalee, so we'll have to see how well, if the lane swap goes down, and how well they do against the Nidalee.
That's right. Well, it is time, guys. Game number 1 of the Grand Finals of Champion Summer. Samsung Blue versus the KT Arrows. Let's get in the game. Guys, who's pumped? I'm pumped. It is game number 1. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. KT Arrows versus Samsung Blue here on OGN Champion Summer with Don Monte Cristo and Maokai already eating some spears. That's no good. And this Nidalee pick could be really big for the scene coming up in the future. We saw how big it's been in other regions, and up till now, all the top laners in Korea grabbing that tree like they live in Colorado.
As a Colorado native myself, I can confirm that this is true.
Right. Acorn pushed back by the Sapperling a little bit. Sapperling is a token in Magic the Gathering, not Sapling, which is what Maokai throws. So, here we go. A little bit of an early spread, some early wards going down from Blue.
So we'll see if Blue wants to actually lane swap this or not. The thing is, they've got this bully lane to use with Corki and Zilean early on. Now, in terms of the composition from Samsung Blue, they've also picked themselves a very well-balanced comp with a lot of different strategic options. Of course, they're going to scale really well with AP Cog and with Tristana.
Yeah.
And the thing about AP Cog is if you can get some damage down with your hold to start chunking people, Tristana can start actually rocket jumping forward to start getting resets and clean up a fight. And Acorn, of course, with Nidalee, typically you want to split push. They're trying to get an early advantage onto Someday, and we will see a delayed invade here, and that is not a good ward.
I don't know, man. There we go. Blue buff under assault Someday. Spirit's going to jump right on him, and it looks like they're going to be able to take this Blue. Now, can they translate this into a 3-buff?
Yeah, okay, here's what they have to do right now in order to translate this into a 3-buff. Just clear this out, so they want the timer. Hachani's already up on the top side, but if the support and recalls now, and then the jungle and top lane walk to Blue immediately,
exactly
they can catch them at Blue, and they will get a kill here.
Oh boy. All right. They're going to try to do it.
Ping's going down.
Yep. Taking the Blue, and here comes Samsung Blue. Blue must protect Blue. Well, Kakao takes it, though.
Okay, that was really dangerous. Now, Someday We did see KT Arrows respond well to that because they had Someday come down as well and start getting into that lane. So it would have been a 4v4 ostensibly right there.
Right.
But that reaction, if you're slow on getting to that blue buff, you could not only get 3 buff, but there could be a trap in your own jungle waiting for you right there.
Well, it's so easy to just kind of mill around and be angry for a couple seconds and be like, oh man, they took our blue buff, but those are seconds you need to get there in time to make sure you don't get 3 buffed. Yeah.
Arrows played that very, very nicely.
Absolutely. And the Arrows, you know, they do have some longer game. Wow, decent damage on the Acorn right there.
And
wow, look at that.
This is the problem. You're going to get shoved out by that Corki Zillion lane. The early damage is pretty significant.
Yep. But I mean, as I was saying, I mean, KT does have some late game options as well. Maokai gets very tanky in the late game. Rise, of course, known for years and years as a late game chance. So it's not all about the early game for KT.
Nope, it certainly isn't. No, they've got plenty of late game power. Both teams have champions with resets, and that's going to mean that probably the team who loses somebody first is going to lose the team fight if all other things are equal, just because once those resets start coming in, it becomes extremely difficult to stop Kha'Zix or Tristana.
Yep, the damage within the fight kind of snowballs a little bit.
Yeah, fortunately, for the KT Arrows, they do have this Zillion, so they're going to have a lot of revive power. If you revive that Maokai late game, I mean, killing him once is hard enough. Killing him twice, forget it.
Seriously. Well, for now, Someday getting a little bit zoned out in the top lane. Def, of course, able to do that very easily. He's got Spirit lurking in the bushes as well, too, but I don't think he's going to stick around for too long. Not a lot to do up in this top lane.
No, all he was doing right there is waiting because he didn't have a ward up top side, and Tristana wanted to zone the Maokai out. So he was waiting to see if there was going to be a gank so he could counter it.
Right.
And we do have this lane swap coming into the Nidalee, and this is how you shut the Nidalee down early. You force her to miss her power in the early game, and that puts her in a place where it's very difficult for her to ever kind of split push if she falls behind and misses her power spike.
Now, what do you think about Nidalee in general at the moment? I mean, we've seen, oh wow, Rookie getting really low in the mid. But what do you think about Nidalee rather in the top lane?
Fantastic pick.
Yeah?
Yep.
Well, there you go. All right, don't need any more than that. Two words.
She's very powerful as a split pusher, especially in the composition we're looking at right here with Nidalee Kog'Maw. You also have the option to group and siege with Nidalee also. So a lot to like about her. And when you pair her with something like Tristana with the range, and you can heal Trist and get that attack speed boost in the late game, well then you've got, you're piling that on top of Tristana's rapid fire as well, and you can just melt through towers very easily and throw spears as best you can.
Yep.
And she's also another one of those champions that can really effectively clean up team fights because her burst is so high and she's got an incredible gap closer.
Sure enough. And are we going to see a little bit of a dive here? Kakao in position, but Acorn has already backed off, so it looks like it's just going to be some turret damage done by the KT Arrows. Early on, Kakao reading that one pretty well.
Whoa.
Oh boy, Acorn coming too far back, and this could be first Blood Spirit coming in. And they don't even need him. Acorn gets out, but that was a close one. Hart getting some nice damage onto Someday under his turret.
Yeah, he's not too worried about his solo support right there, though. And that was a
not even a bloodthirsty support like Hart.
No, I'm sorry, though.
Oh.
That was a really risky play by Acorn to walk back up like that. He's going to try and teleport back down, but okay, he wants to get the minions off this wave. Doesn't get gold off the cannon, though.
Well, he's got support from Spirit coming down in his lane as well, so he's not alone. And Kakao has backed off, but still, yeah. A situation where he probably could have just played a little bit safer and not ended up having to go back and use that teleport.
Yeah, this is a bit dicey. Interestingly, Dade is going for a so he went for the tier first. Sometimes we see a beans first and then into a tier, but he's going just for a farm build. He's comfortable. He was comfortable early against Ryze's range, confident that he wasn't going to be taking too many overloads in the laning phase, so he didn't need the MR provided by the earlier Chalice, so he could go for a tier and start stacking that immediately. Typical Kog'Maw build AP these days is going to be both Chalice and Seraph's Embrace as the first 2 core items.
Makes sense. Looks like the blue buff, the second one, will be headed off to Rookie, and there's some action in the bot lane. Spirit getting jumped on, tries to back off. Thought he had a plan to Johnny, but he may pay for it. Flashing from both players. Oh, the rocket hits, but there's the black shield from Hart. and they manage to barely save another member. Oh, flash binding onto Arrow. Dade coming down as well. Arrow could be in big trouble. Hart getting low though. Arrow lower. First blood goes to Dade on that mid lane Kog'Maw.
And you got to be very careful on making plays like that. And Dade is a player who pretty much always runs Ghost Flash on his mid laners. He does this because he's a passive lane farmer most of the time, especially on mages, and he uses these to reposition himself to maximize his damage during battles. Did it on Ziggs, does it on Ryze, does it on TF, does it on Kog'Maw, and you have to be careful because he can collapse on you in a very short period of time, and Spirit just escaping with a sliver of health right there. Hart coming with the black shield to prevent any further magic damage from Corki's rockets. So
it's a great turnaround. It's really amazing to think that it could very easily right now be 2-1 as far as kills go in favor of KT too.
Now, Someday has teleport advantage and they have summoner advantage. I don't think Blue can actually do this dragon.
Yeah, they gave it a shot, but it'd be a little bit too dangerous. KT Arrows may step in and try to take this one though.
Yeah, they have TP advantage and they've left Deft up into the top lane. So they have everything going for them as they go for this dragon. They're going to even things right back up and take it themselves.
Samsung has to just give this one up. And so we are going to continue to have a very close early game. Deft, though, getting a lot of good damage onto that top turret, though.
Yeah, and look at this. Someday actually going for a blasting wand as his part of his Rod of Ages before going for that catalyst. So not too worried about the sustain this time.
Not too bad.
Going for some damage. Curious, we don't normally see this.
Dade in the mid lane, pushed back a little bit, but no problem. It's funny, he has become the champion that he was designed to kill with Zed.
That's true.
The circle is now complete, old man.
Okay, Hart.
Hart coming in, yeah, may have a play onto Arrow here. There's the Dark Binding, not bad. Arrow with Valkyrie up, of course, not gonna have any trouble getting out of it, but the harassment is nice. Denying a couple CS is okay as he is down nearly 20 at the moment.
Yeah, and he's been dual laning here, so he's going to be a couple levels down as well. Of course, level's not as important on an AD carry. That by that token, though, since Achani's been more in lane as well than Hart, Hart's been roaming heavily. Achani does have that level advantage, but everything else pretty much even across the board. But Someday has been in that solo lane. So basically the choice that Samsung Blue has made here is that they wanted to power up this Nidalee, make sure this Nidalee could get some farm in the dual lane, and so they had to send Morgana down here for most of the game to this point. And so the levels are just not on Nidalee, they're on Tristana instead. Meanwhile, Someday has opened up an experience advantage.
Yeah, looks like a bit of action by the blue buff. Ward's going down, Deft throwing one, sees Someday, and he's going to be able to back off, walks right through another ward. Oh, the poor, sad life of a sapling.
Dade's trying to clear out the mid wave right now. Bottom lane getting quite low, and Hart will be bombed by Zilean. He's not going to use Black Shield.
Going into the Dark Binding, Spear coming in as well. Achani in big trouble. Arrow trying to do damage, but just not enough. Zilean ults himself. Can Achani survive? Teleport. Oh, teleport got canceled, and they're going to get the kill onto Achani anyway. They trade for Acorn, but it's going to be 2 for Samsung. There's a flash from Deft. Cacao coming in, a little bit of revenge for denying that teleport, and they will be able to get Deft nearly under his own turret. So 2 for 2 in the end.
And that is why, one of the reasons why they wanted to leave Tristana up in the top lane, because she has a TP cancel, unlike Acorn. So you have that opportunity now, a little bit of a lackluster positioning from Someday right there. Also the KT Arrows, they had a long period of time with teleport advantage and they didn't do anything with it. So that's a bit sloppy from them. If you have the TP and you can teleport down to make a play in the bottom lane to punish this Nidalee even more than you're doing already, you got to take that advantage.
And for a team that's known for that early game aggression, you wonder if maybe the nerves are starting to hit a little bit in this first game. Let's watch the replay of this fight now. You see the teleport barely starting. Achani ults himself here.
Yeah, Arrow gets knocked out of that very quickly. Nice job by Dev coming in with the rocket jump. Doesn't even have to burn his summoner on that one.
Yeah.
And it's clean up down in the bottom, but Cacao reacts with a great cross-map play now.
Someday
in trouble up here.
They can dive this so easily, just waiting for Heart and Spirit to show up, and that is going to be a dead tree, I think. Whoa, dodges, skill shots, twisted advance.
Oh, Someday with the turnaround.
Whoa! Crazy stuff. Cacao coming over the wall onto Dade now. Hart And Spirit trying to back off, but someday with probably one of the best Maokai 1v3 plays I've ever seen.
And here comes Kakao, bomb on his head.
Flash from Spirit, Kakao, yep, bomb. They're gonna kick him away though, the knockup onto Johnny. Meanwhile, Def died as well.
Yeah, Kakao not going for the W evolve this game, going for that E evolve instead. That does allow him to take advantage of those resets even better. So, interesting decision, but when you have a Rise on your team who's going to be doing massive AoE, can be useful.
Yep, sure enough. Man, what a play.
And, you know, the great thing about Kha'Zix too is, depending on what you evolve in Max first, you have so many different options for how you play Kha'Zix. In this instance, he's really there to get in and be a part of the team fights and be more of a cleanup champion after some initial AoE has been put down. But if you evolve that W burst, as we've seen over in Europe, you really have an opportunity to do some more poking style play. And this is Arrow just...
Arrow. Outplayed.
Well, I mean, Arrow already has this Trinity Force. Yeah. 1, 2, and 1 right now. Meanwhile, Deft is in that Tristana power trough in the mid game that you encounter if you go for the Infinity Edge first instead of the Static Shiv.
A pretty expensive item. You can get stuck doing a lot less damage than the enemy AD carry at this point in the game.
So this is a great time. This is great timing for the KT Arrows. And this isn't their only timing either. As we talked about, Rise and Maokai are just going to get more and more powerful the longer the game goes on, and they've got to revive.
Whoa, Deft over the wall to Johnny. Johnny will get pushed away, but that's going to let Deft take out the ward, keep his pink alive. So aggressive. Oh, the Q lands on the heart! And they get the Zillion ult out of it. Not bad. It's a fairly low cooldown ultimate, but hey, I'd trade that for a Q, wouldn't you?
Well, it's especially important because that dragon's coming up soon. Now, he's going to have his ult up back pretty quickly due to rewind, so it may come up right before the dragon starts. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Close.
But, yeah, very crucial timing right there.
And right now, KT really needs to be careful because if they lose anybody to ganks in the next 20 seconds, that's just going to be a free dragon for Samsung Blue. And they've already got a good position on it. Yeah,
neither top laner has teleport, but with Acorns coming up just a hair sooner, it's going to cause Maokai to walk down. Now, KT,
Acorn,
they really want this dragon right now. They've got the power spike onto Corki. They should feel confident about what they're going. Acorn just has a phage.
It'd be dangerous for Samsung Blue to fight this. I think they're just going to let it go. Looks like they are. Yep.
Samsung Blue can't do anything about that, so they do fall behind. And, you know, Doa, just looking at how this game is unfolding so far, I have to say, it looks like the KT Arrows are going to win this one, not just because of the gold advantage, but because...
Oh, a little bit of damage. Oh, here comes Kakao! Right out of depth, pushes it back, gets away, and Acorn takes the turn up in top lane at the same time.
Yeah, so there's the split push from Nidalee. They do trade objective for objective in the end. But as I was saying, if you ask me who is going to win based on this point of the game, the thing is that Acorn's been held down for the early part of this game.
Totally.
And Maokai's even gotten a couple of kills, so that Nidalee power spike has been delayed. Still not finishing that Trinity Force at nearly 16 minutes right here, so that's going to be slightly problematic. Meanwhile, Someday has finished his first core item in that Rod of Ages. And so, it's with this Corki powered up and able to siege right now as well, it looks like KT Arrows have hit the timings better. And because we saw the lane swap coming in as well, and Nidalee suffering a little bit as a result of it, the Zillion wasn't really punished. Yeah. And yes, Zillion is strong in laning, but without any punishment onto Zillion, he's going to start scaling crazily, just in terms of his utility, not in terms of his damage, because he's got a lot of mana, he's getting a lot of cooldown reduction, and when you consider that there's a Maokai and a Rise, and as we know, if a team fight goes long enough, a Zillion will be able to ult maybe twice over the course of that team fight.
Sure enough, Acorn. Oop, gotta be careful. There's a tree in the forest. That's a strange threat, I guess, yeah.
Only scary in League of Legends.
That's true. Look out, there's trees in that forest.
Maybe Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's true.
But only if you're an orc.
Right. Oh, Dade. A little bit caught by that room prison, and they're going to superpower Kakao! Coming in, Dade knew it was up, though. Flashed preemptively. They got both summoners, though.
Yeah, that's...
And they may get a lot of damage onto this mid lane, too. No, not enough moving minion wave, I guess.
Arrow joining forces with Someday up in the top lane. Look at that poke coming out.
And there we
they're
go.
Going in.
Flash twisted advance, and now they take out Acorn easily. Def trying to get away hard there for the protection, so he'll make it out. But Acorn just getting stopped this game overall.
And KT Arrows, this is that explosive early game that we talked about. They frequently jump out to early leads, and they're going to get another tower right here in the mid lane after chasing Dade off.
Not bad. They'll get it, and that's going to bring them to about a 3,000 gold lead in 17 minutes. Pretty solid advantage for the KT Arrows, and they're continuing to grow it. Someday, wow, taking a lot of damage from that AP Kog'Maw.
AP Kog'Maw does a lot of damage, and he's not even really completing that many items yet. He has gone for an early distortion enchantment. This is very Dade thing to do. He really values that mobility. He thinks that as long as he has his summoners up more frequently, that's what's going to allow him to output more damage in teamfights rather than completing a higher AP or damage item.
Well, looking at his history, I guess I can't terribly agree with him or disagree with him at this point.
Yeah, it is hard to disagree. Someday now with the Glacial Shroud building into the Frozen Heart. And that's going to be very effective, of course, against both Acorn and Deft on Nidalee and Tristana, respectively.
You know, this Zilean support is interesting because you do things like build Boots of Lucidity on it because you want that cooldown reduction to just be absolutely insane, but you lose a lot of that mobility that supports kind of thrive on right now. I mean, roaming support is the thing, so Zilean is kind of a champion outside of the meta.
Well, I mean, he has a self-speed ability, so he can make up for the mobility boots to a certain degree, but it costs resources, of course. And you may want that to get out of a sticky situation, too, if you get into one. So KT Arrows trying to get control over the blue side jungle right here. Minute 40 left.
Arrow
Spirit
coming in
on the run.
And they catch Spirit. Cacao coming in with a decent amount of damage, but not enough. They do get the flash, though.
Yeah, that flash is
and I mean,
a win in and of itself right there.
Oh, yeah. And KT Arrows, look at this. They just continue to use that strength. Use those power spikes to push objectives. They're not getting overly aggressive. It's been so cool, you know, to see this team mature over the season.
That's a really good point, though. The old KT Arrows as Sachani gets caught.
Well, he ults himself. All right, Zilean will live for now.
The old KT Arrows would have over-pursued some of these kills. They would have, but this is a patience that we're seeing tonight that hasn't always been present, but then again, that patience seems to wax and wane from game to game.
Sure enough, and looks like they're going to try to jump on Someday, but he's so tanky. Already, Spirit kicking him back. The ult going for Someday, and it looks like he's not going to make it out. We'll see. Twist advance back against Spirit a bit low. Here comes Cacao. Someday gets taken out by Acorn, but now Cacao in the mix has to flash away. He does not want to fight. 1v4 Dade with the snipe over the wall. Outliving artillery, man.
And there's the KT Arrows we know. Over-committing to kills, right as we say it.
That's more like it.
Cacao should not have tried to save Someday right there. He was dead to rights. He didn't have really anything in order to escape from that situation.
Well, this is the exact time, too, that we start to see Blue come back in so many games. This is like the tipping point for this matchup. Either KT manages to do something they've had trouble doing all season, or Samsung is just going to continue to do something they've done all season.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Arrow will be going the typical Korean Corki build of Triforce Sork Shoes into Blade of the Ruined King.
Yep.
Although not a lot of HP on the Samsung Blue team, so it's going to be interesting because even though we have a lot of scaling, Samsung Blue in the late game is reliant entirely on their poke. They have to get everybody down to like half HP in order to actually have a team fight. So it's going to be really hard for them.
We might have one coming up with Dragon. Dragon at about half health already. KT Arrows, I think they might just get it. Q did land though. Can we see the steal from Spirit? Maybe no, he backed off too much, and that is another Dragon for the KT Arrows. I believe they've gotten all three this game.
Yeah, they have. And Dade, not anywhere near that. But this is a poke comp and a siege comp from Samsung. Now they can 4-1 split as well with this Nidalee. But the Nidalee isn't as far ahead as you would definitely like her to be at this point in time, especially as this Maokai continues to scale.
Yeah.
Whereas the Arrows, they've got decent siege, not to the degree of Samsung Blue, but they're about that team fighting. So we'll see how patient Samsung Blue can be in these engages, because they have to chunk out their opponents before they fight, or else Maokai and Rise are just going to destroy them.
Yeah, can they find those fights, though? That's the key.
Yeah, and can they kite well enough out of it, too?
Yep. Now Samsung Blue moving into the mid lane a little bit now. They tried for playing rookie. Dodged the skill shots. Dade, though, of course, that R, pretty good.
Yeah, the thing about the arrows, too, is they've got good pick potential. You can speed up that Kha'Zix and use that invisibility for a lot of advantages. You also have single target, targeted crowd control in Maokai and Rise. So you've got a lot of options. Both of these team comps are very versatile, very well thought out.
Yep. I'm excited to see the AP Cog in the mid lane. I mean, it's something we've been hearing about for so long in the Korean scene. We know people have been practicing it. So finally seeing it in the Champions Finals, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, just been used in NLB so far, but it is fun to see it here. Now, Baron control heavily in favor of the KT Arrows at the moment, and Samsung Blue going to be a little bit scared to go in there.
I mean, we've just seen objective control in general handled by the KT Arrows this game. They've been in control.
And look at that, 5 pinks down on the map, ball across the river for the Arrows, so there's kind of a no man's land that Samsung Blue can't pass through right now safely. And let's see this, Kakao just clearing out that ward.
Tried to activate Baron, didn't end up working out though. I don't know, I feel like even with the advantage KT has, it'd be just a little bit too dangerous to go for Baron right now.
No, you don't want to do that. What they need is Arrow to come group with them so that they can actually clear out the top side of that Baron pit around the back of the red buff. And then they can start setting up picks, and that's what they want to do. They've got the speed, they have the crowd control to do it, but they need to get their butts grouped and up there. And they're staggering recalls right now, which, see if they actually get any more wards. Yeah, they're not coming back with too many more wards, so they may have a bit of trouble with this. They only have 2 wards in the inventory right now, and if you're going to recall, you have to come back to this Baron pit with some more wards.
Yeah. You know, I worry that we're seeing the same KT Arrows that we've seen nearly all season long. You know, they get this lead, and then they just get a little bit over-eager and start to give it back. Spirit taking some hits.
The other thing is, whoever has the pink wards on the bottom side right now needs to reposition them up top side. You need that vision control in order to...
Whoa, someday a duel between the top laners, and he's going to get chased away. Q barely misses Maokai. Yep.
He wouldn't have gone in on that anyway.
I don't think so. Remember back when Kakao played Jungle Maokai? Kakao Kai way back when?
I do. Those are the days.
It's been a long time. Back when there were trees in the jungle.
Okay, this is the pick they need.
Yep.
But against the Kog'Maw, who can check these bushes with his ultimate, it can be difficult. Lots of pings going down. They know they're in there.
Yeah. Just kind of making it out of the enemy jungle for now.
KT Arrows have really kind of botched their Baron vision control right here. They didn't. If you're going to recall like that, you have to come back with more wards. And we saw Rookie and Kakao not showing up with enough vision in order to actually close this game. And in the meantime, they're just sitting around getting poked out by Samsung Blue. They have to present some sort of threat, whether or not they start it. They can start it 2-man and then finish it with Kakao once it comes in. Someday in Rookie or someday in Arrow can start this Baron right now.
Well, yeah, they were doing so well in the early game, and now there's just no pressure on the map out of them. Yeah, Samsung looking very confident about this Baron. Confident in stopping it anyway.
Well, there's no more wards. I mean, we see Hachani coming back with another ward. He needs to pink that brush. Meanwhile, another minion wave hitting the bottom tier 1. It's been wearing down over time. Yeah. Dada has a lot of money right now on
Oh, exactly. 2,000. And he should. Whoa, Kakao taking a lot of damage. And I wonder if Dada is going to take this opportunity to go back real quick.
This is really bad Baron control from the KT Arrows.
You know, it looks like they know they should be near Baron, but they don't really know what to do with it. It's kind of the vibe
they don't have the wards to do what they need to do.
Yeah, if you look at their inventory, they
and I watched them recall over and over and over again, and they don't buy more wards. Kakao, buy a ward right now. There we go.
You got a ping. Okay. Need more, though. You always need
There we go.
Wards.
Okay, now they're finally recalling and actually getting the wards they need. And they're right to stagger the recalls here, because if you all recall simultaneously, you can't defend the wards you already have. They get swept out, and you have to start this entire process over again.
Yeah. Wards are like Jello, man. There's always room. there's always room for more wards.
Samsung Blue, on the other hand, has been doing a good job stalling this out, and they've been getting a ton of farm on Dade in the process. We see him jump out to a rather sizable CS lead.
I think he just straight up bought that Void Staff.
Yeah, he did.
He's got a lot
That's scary.
of damage.
He's at a huge, huge power spike at the moment.
And so it looks like KT going back to an objective they know they can take the Dragon. And we'll see if they can get the 4th in a row. Cow lurking.
Samsung Blue has a chance to just take over vision control around the Baron buff right now.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, the thing is, Samsung Blue, yet again, has played this game so safely and so methodically. They've given themselves the opportunity to come back. Now, Dragon being taken, someday chasing away Spirit. Shani comes down. They will take that Dragon. But will they get out? Will there be a fight? Spirit, more damage onto him. Dade coming in, trying to poke. Deft as well. Sneaking through the backside. They've got a lot of members of KT really low. If Hart can get in position to lock someone down, it could be a pick, but it looks like they may just be satisfied with forcing this Baron. Whoa! Someday really low. Acorn, though, takes some damage. Flash. Oh, and Dade misses it. Gotta be careful.
All that damage on Maokai, by the way, was done by Dade over the course of that chase. You can see how much poke this AP Kog'Maw has. KT Aero trying to clear that ward out of the back of the pit, but are they going to be able to defend this turret? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Wow, actually Blue backing off. Okay.
All right. Blue playing it pretty safe as well, apparently. Acorn getting some more farm, which he does need a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so just making sure the lanes are pushed up. They were kind of going in KT's favor. And Samsung not too concerned about that Baron. Oh, Hart getting jumped on, arrow over the wall, gets Dark Binding to Spirit. Oh, nice safeguard! And they actually keep Hart alive. Wow, Def coming in for a little bit of revenge, and there's a teleport coming down, canceled.
Yeah, they saw Acorn on the bottom side, thought that they maybe could get a pick or at least get a kill right there over the pit. Couldn't quite get either, but they do take a TP advantage heading in right now, and that's going to mean that Someday can split bottom lane.
Oh, Someday moving down to bot. A little bit of a warding mission, anti-warding mission perhaps. And he's going to be able to push that lane up. He does have the teleport. So, and again, KT Aeros finds themselves once more in a situation where they have that teleport advantage. Can they use it?
Yeah, they need to use it this time. And we also see them buying a lot more wards this time around. I think they realize their issues. Achani also has the Oracle's Lens now, so that will be highly helpful.
Oh, yeah.
In the control, but Arrows need to tighten up their vision around the Baron this time so that they can actually use it to an advantage instead of spending a lot of money and diddling around.
Dade and Spirit trying to push his mid lane, but it's not working. They've got it kind of stalled out, but that's about it. This game in general is just kind of stalled out.
Yeah, well, that's because Blue is behind and the Arrows are not taking advantage of their lead.
Yep. But it's good for Blue, though.
Yeah, it's great for Blue.
The longer the arrows take to try to make something happen, the better chance Blue has of winning this game. So more fights over the mid lane, more ward wars. And more poking from Dade. Oh, wow, nice damage onto Cacao. That worked well. Good Dark Binding from Hart. Arrow turning around. Gonna go after that pink ward.
Yeah, Dade gets the mid lane turret in the meantime. Dade just doing a very nice mix of poking people out of being able to contest that Baron. Cacao actually has to base right now, as well as taking an objective at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of poise for Samsung Blue. They're very familiar with their win conditions. They know they just have to poke, and as long as they can keep poking and keep out of the crosshairs of the KT Arrows, they can come back into this game and they can continue to claw the gold lead into their favor. Someday here, going to toss the sapling over, not going to quite get the white.
Give it a try. Maybe that's the Samsung white, I guess.
Samsung white?
Yep.
It certainly belongs to Samsung this time. Well, Someday is getting insanely tanky though, and this is the big fear in this game for Samsung Blue, is that they may not be able to kill this Maokai eventually, even with this incredibly pokey. That's just obnoxious.
The other thing too is that, again, you know, they've got Zillion, so that Maokai, you're gonna have to kill him twice. As hard as it's gonna be to bring him down the first time, good luck with the second time during a team fight.
Yeah, this is good. Cacao got Aegis finally, so that's gonna really help against the poke. That's the item you want right here. And if your jungler can pick it up, fantastic. Someday, still trading Acorn had to get an elixir. just to kind of keep up right here. So going for that temporary boost in terms of stats and HP.
Gotta do what you gotta do. And Samsung just gonna push the bottom lane out a little bit. And what are we gonna see? Oh, Hart, we're gonna see Hart get a little bit caught here. A lot of damage, Black Shield, burnt through almost immediately. Kakao dodges that skill shot. And it looks like Dade is able to poke enough.
We see the kiting right there. Deft has his hold.
That's right. Backs off, gets her in prison, makes it out though. And KT threatening in the mid lane, dragging up in about a minute again.
And KT really just hasn't been able to get permanent control over the rush on the backside of Samsung Blue's red buff.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
And that's really problematic. Part of it is because Samsung Blue has this poke composition, so it's really difficult to get control of that brush when they're in the safety of their own jungle and can poke you over walls. But part of that is just insufficient numbers of wards, insufficient pink wards being moved aggressively forward. But they have to get control over the backside of the pit because they can't do Baron while they're getting poked in the Baron pit with an MR debuff. So it's necessary for them to get vision further into Samsung Blue's jungle than normal simply because of the range of Samsung Blue's composition.
Well, for now, just more ward clearing. And Spirit spotting some of the KT players. Look out, your spear's on fire. Where does that flaming spear goes? Turns into pause, I guess, for me. All right. KT trying to get back some of that vision control. Dragon is up in 10. Baron's still up. And it's still very difficult for Samsung Blue to just go all in and fight this.
Nope. They
got a poke, yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, they caught Acorn. That could be bad. Acorn gets caught, and now they can chase, and when they're done chasing, they can go for Baron. We'll see if they grab the dragon first. Looks like they will. But Acorn getting caught there could be huge.
Yeah, that's pretty big. I mean, KT Arrows, once again, they missed the timing of a teleport advantage.
Yep, there goes the dragon in favor of the KT Arrows. And what's the plan going to be? Looks like for now, just spreading out, pushing out those lanes again.
Yeah, they're all bottom side, and KT Arrows know this. They may make an attempt onto the Baron here just to see if they'll come.
We'll see.
Now Rise is bottom side, so they need to wait.
Oh, there we go. Flash from the wall. Done in trouble. What a catch by the KT Arrows. And they're not done yet. Deft in trouble now as well. They've got Hearthstone down as well. Double kill for Arrow, and now it's Heart's turn. 3 kills in KT. Oh, a triple for Arrow. And they may have just blown this game wide open. They're going to take the tier 2. I'm surprised we're not seeing them go for Baron.
Well, they're going to take an inhibitor right here as well.
Oh, they could. You're right.
They want to push that way through because they've had such trouble with Baron control. This is absolutely the right call. You go, take the inhibitor. It will make your Baron control so much easier.
I would say so, and they have plenty of time. The game, it feels like it's been moving faster than it is. I thought the def timers were lower, but now Samsung only worried about the def timer. It's not up. No Tristana to defend their inhibitor.
That's right. 10 seconds left on the def timer.
Yep, now 6 on the def timer. And why not just grab that blue buff on the way out? KT Arrows looked like they were in trouble. Found the team fight that they have been looking for. Or rather, the picks that they have been looking for.
Yeah, a very interesting duel over the Baron vision right there, and Samsung Blue delayed it, but a couple key picks right there over the wall.
Great engagement by Someday.
Setting up the play. Deft can't quite do anything right there as another W from Maokai comes in, and Hart is dead to rights due to the burst.
Yeah, poor Hart. They just ignored him at the start of that fight, and then they turned around at the end and they're like, all right, it's your time now. They catch Kakao, a little bit of damage in there from Deft. Got to be careful, though. They don't have vision in the enemy jungle at the moment. KT, though, I feel like KT is the type of team, too, where they need to win a fight like that, and then suddenly they get more aggressive. Suddenly they have that confidence back, you know? And boy, do they have it now.
Yeah, we'll see if they can actually get adequate Baron vision this time.
Yep.
Samsung Blue definitely making it difficult.
I feel like KT thinks that they have a better chance now. They think that they've got the power to make it happen.
And there's the W evolved last for Kakao.
Interesting. Went for that instead of the ult, I guess.
Well, it is a counteract to some of the poke coming in, and also just the fast slow, very useful.
Oh, yeah. Hart getting poked out pretty hard as KT tries to get back that Baron control. It's tough, though. I mean, even if you do to clear out the wards, even if you do, get that vision control back, you still are going to be poked by this Kog'Maw.
Yeah, this is a bit sloppy play from the KT Arrows right here.
We're back to where we were again.
A lot of Korean teams will pink and green ward a brush just so that you won't, if you have vision over it and you kill their pink ward, you won't suspect that there's also a green ward in there as well if you don't lens it.
Always
so
gotta sweep it.
You have to sweep it, and you have to, you have to kind of make sure there's absolutely nothing in there, even if the pink ward goes down.
Someday taking a lot of turret hits. It looks like it will result in tier 2 taken, but Acorn split pushing. Def with the pushback, he can get out. And now they've got to worry about that inhibitor.
Right, and this home guard in Italy has been chipping away at towers down on the bottom side, and Samsung Blue identifies their win conditions in a perilous situation.
Oh, Cacao, look at that. Jumps over the wall and just kind of
who are they sending back to deal with this? The arrows are not doing anything.
They've got to do something, but do they give up a Baron if they do? Oh boy.
No, they won't.
Shawnee's so low.
They're just getting tooled around right now. Nobody can recall due to the poke.
Yeah.
Are they going to just give up an inhibitor?
They did. They just gave up the inhibitor. Wow, and Acorn, he's like, all right, well, I guess I'll just
he just pushed through 3 towers and an inhibitor without a response from the KT Arrows.
He just killed the entire bot lane by himself, man. He might have been playing against bots for all the difficulty he had there.
Well, Sunday's coming. He's going to try and delay the recall. He's going to stop it.
In the meantime, there are minion troubles in the base of Samsung Blue as well. They just lost a Nexus turret.
Here we
Samsung,
go.
There's a big fight. Cacao coming in. Arrow coming from behind with a lot of damage. Def with good position, though. Gets some kills. 2 for Samsung. And now Acorn in a bit of trouble. KT trying to turn this one around. Can they do it? Rookie had to back off a moment. A kill for Arrow. And they're not done yet. Rookie a little bit low. Arrow has to back away. And there's Def for one. Samsung in a desperate fight. Turn it around. And now they've only got Someday to deal with. Acorn so low. Can they do it? Someday. Oh, he gets Acorn. That tree.
What's going on in the base right now?
Man.
That's the question.
Yeah, seriously, it looks like the minions have pushed it back. 4 now, the inhibitor about to come back.
Well, that was a very strange battle of recall timings. Now, Deft and Spirit going to try and 2-man this Baron.
Oh, can they do it?
Cacao up in 6. He doesn't have home guards right now. They should know this is going on, though.
I think they can. I think they can. Someday doesn't have a teleport. He's the only one who can get there in time.
Spirit's so low.
Spirit is going to die to Baron. No! Deft trying to tank it. A desperate attempt to kill this Baron. Can they do it? I don't know. I can't see. There we go. They got the Baron at the last possible second.
Yeah, Cacao didn't even try and go back. Okay.
Wow.
So let's take stock of what just happened right there. Basically, there were recall denials by both teams. Mid inhibitor back up now for Samsung Blue. Bottom inhibitor still down for the KT Arrows, but Nexus turret lost and the top inhibitor turret nearly down, hanging by a thread for Samsung Blue as well. So Baron now in the hands, but only 3 people alive actually when that Baron buff went down, so it won't be on the full team of Samsung Blue.
Yep. Arrow trying to push back that inhibitor less lane. Thanks to Acorn. Kiting about as well as a Corky can. And man, what a game to start off the night with. Pretty back and forth, pretty crazy. And I don't know, it's just not over yet. There's so much that could happen in this game.
Yeah, I really don't think the KT Arrows imagined that Acorn would have the brass balls to like push all the way that far, and then his team, by the time the Arrows really wanted to recall to deal with that, they managed to poke him out. So just a fantastic, perfect use of the win conditions of their composition. 4-1 split, poke him out, buy time for this Nidalee.
They thought they were safe with the tree, but it was the Acorn they needed to worry about.
That's right.
What do you know?
And we see the static shiv on Acorn as well, just powers up that split push, allows him to clear those waves even faster. And Samsung Blue on the offensive for really the kind of the first time this game as a team.
Cacao, here we go. Someday getting in the middle of the fight. Cacao flanking from the side. Arrow and Rookie bringing up the back lines. Sajani a little bit caught. Someday getting kicked out of the middle. They do get Spirit. This is not going well. Samsung on the run. A kill for Cacao. And Acorn, they've completely scattered Samsung Blue. 2 kills.
Yeah, but there's a big wave in top side. Bottom is still pushing, and Italy could split push up in top right now. The KT Heroes need to make a very decisive call. Looks like that call will be to push down into the mid inhibitor.
That's right.
But Okay, Sunday's left behind in order to deal with the super minions. Not the best, and Acorn's going to get a tower.
Yeah, it looks like he will. But will the KT Arrows get much more? Dade coming in. No turret to worry about. They're just going to go right after that inhibitor. Rookie just walking right up onto Dade. He wants to win this battle of mid laners. What a crazy eye, man. Do they get it? They'll kill it on the way out. Yep, there goes the inhibitor. And Someday was enough. Look at that damage coming out of that AP cog. Wow. Oh! It's not an old school Nidalee Spear, don't worry.
Yeah, but the follow-up now with the pounce from the Nidalee Spears can be quite deadly with the Trinity Force, the burst you get.
Gotta be a bit closer to do that, though.
Well, Leandries, you'll see, finished on Dade as well, so just going for a lot of poke damage where he burns you down over time. Lockett finished a while ago. Someday picking up a Thorn Mail now.
As if he wasn't hard enough to kill already.
Yeah, Veil's down onto Zillion and Rise, though, so that'll be pretty helpful right there. Hart inching closer to that Zhonya's Hourglass. He'll have some solid engage.
He's got it now. He actually just completed it. And that is huge. That's a big engage. And the thing is if everybody follows in Someday, Hart gets in the middle with that ultimate in the Zhonya's, that can really kind of counter-engage what KT wants to do.
Well, stopping Someday right now is going to be a really hard task. We have a 5-item Maokai.
It's more about the people that try to jump in after, you know?
Yeah. Well, as long as... The problem right now for KT is that Hachani keeps having to ult himself.
Yeah.
And it would be great for the KT Arrows if they could ult Someday instead.
Well, that's been all game. You know?
Rookie's on the run. Dade has to flash.
Dade has to flash. Hart right there as well. Oh, here we go. Spirit coming in. Whoa, getting crazy aggressive. Tried to do some damage to Someday. Oh, he gets blown up, though. Oh, no. Deft is down, too. And the KT Arrows, they have got it. A double kill. And there goes Acorn. Doubles across the board. Cacao and Arrow coming away with one. And they will take game number 1. What an insane first match of the night. We are only getting started. Cacao dancing in front of the Nexus. And that is it. GG, KT Arrows take game 1.
There's Cacao, the leap into the fountain, and that was a great game of League of Legends.
That was why we were so hyped. The hype is real, guys. If you know anybody that even knows what League of Legends is or doesn't, they gotta be watching this. They gotta be.
And we've been, we talked about this before the semifinal between Blue and White, but Blue's penchant for accruing those early deficits, it was going to come and bite him in the ass sometime, and maybe in this finals, they did a good job.
You mean it was going to come and bite him in the ass someday?
Oh,
there you go. So Blue, I mean, like we said, it's still very early in the night. This is a best of 5. Blue can come back in single games. Can they come back in this series? We'll take a break, guys. We'll be back with game number 2 at the Champions Summer Grand Finals right after this.